There we are. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to all of y'all. Welcome to Cliff Notes Live on a Monday evening. Happy Labor Day to all of y'all. I hope most people didn't have to go to work. For those of you who do, appreciate the service because I know it's because you're doing something incredibly important. So appreciate y'all that did have to go to the work. The rest of you that didn't, hope you enjoyed your day. And now we're going to finish it off talking a little Big Brother. We'll talk a lot of Big Brother. Let me start with big old SKD 143. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love all you guys that come out here either live or watching on the replay. Haven't forgotten about you guys. And I love Big Brother. What a crazy week. So questions, comments you've got. We can talk about other reality shows if you want, but this is going to be a very intensive Big Brother hour. There are spoilers. We'll be talking about the latest and greatest. So if you're just watching TV episodes, I'm warning you now. You need to know. All right, let's see what else. Let me check, see who's going, who's out here, and then we'll get right to the questions. I said that, and just as I said that, my screen's acting up a little bit, guys. So sit tight with me, and there we go. I don't know. I've been watching between college football and the live feeds. My computer was doing double duty along with the TV set, along with the cell phone. I just a lot of streaming stuff going on this weekend. All right, let me see who all's out here. Then we're going to get into it. I'm glad the screen came back. Audrey Cobb. Howdy, Audrey. How are you, my friend? Ryan 51, Marilyn Sutherland, Lee Strike, Brian Hotseller. Hey, Brian. Let's see. Patty Bell, Big Jake 88, Carol Mosier. Let's see all these names out here. Karen Loveland. Let's see. Read about your rehab. I'm stuck in this rehab unit. Showers are hot. Hey, it beats being a have-not in the Big Brother room then, right? I'm using my lips and it hurts my new knee. Well, at least you got a new knee. I mean, I no pain, no gain, so to speak. It's easy for me to say, but it's so cool the stuff medicine can do nowadays. So congratulations to you that you're heading the right direction on it. All right, Boston Gamer. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Hey, Boston. Let's see. Kennedy Franklin as well. Cindy Hire. Hey, Cindy. Rita Coast. Ken T. Sonia Battles. Greg. C. Gabarino. Angie Hung. Hey, Angie. Howdy. I saw some questions I was going to answer to you, and I haven't done it yet. Colleen. Dr. Bose. Howdy, Dr. Bose. Tina Harlan Sandstedt. Let's see who else we got out here. Mosu as well. Michelle Moore. Ashley Collin. Let's see who else. Chaz is out here. Greg's out here. Andrew Johnson, Jamaica Tenort, Andy W, Betty Simmons, and Deb McDougal, Misfire, Hattie Misfire, Julia Shepard, Wyatt Garrett. Hey, Wyatt, how are you, my friend, sir? Ken T, Christy Kozar, Tracy Muckenfuss. Man, a lot of y'all out this evening. Paul Long, Chrislyn Palmer, Ed. And I think we'll shut it down there because I got Rooftop Jitterbug. I got to put that name in there. Shannon Gammons. Ma is out here as well. Howdy, Ma. How are you doing? Just finished your podcast. Well, congratulations on that. Tell me how that's going. I'm really curious. Hunter Green as well. All right, we'll call it good. I love seeing names I recognize out here week after week, but I always like seeing the new names as well, especially during Big Brother season. What a crazy week. I think y'all asked me last week. It was I think it was here. Who would I like to see win HOH for the coming up weekend? At the time, I think I said either Kelly or Keanu. Well, I got my wish, and Keanu has been in some ways, just as messy as I predicted. In other ways, he came in with a very well-defined idea about who he wanted to put up. He thought he had it all figured out. It just doesn't work that way this season at all, does it? I tell you what, I know we all like putting three people up. I get it, and I understand why they're doing it. It makes for a much more exciting Thursday night. But at the same time, it also just is throwing everything in disarray when you're putting up three people instead of two and giving people an extra chance to come off the block. I am ready to get past this. I'm ready just to go back to two people. Once we get, once we get to jury phase, I fully expect that to happen. I don't think it's been officially announced, but they'll get rid of it at that point in time. And I'm ready for it. You can have true back doors. You can make bigger moves and not worry so much about it. I'm thinking without this extra blockbuster competition, some things like that, you could have had some bigger moves already this season. People were a little bit hesitant to do that. That's just my thought. And we'll talk about that some more here in a second. All right, a few questions because I want to try to get to as many as I can this evening. Brian Hostetler saying, who goes this week? Mickey, if she's still on the block. Otherwise, Ashley. Yeah, I think Mickey goes home if she's still on the block. She needs to win Blockbuster again this week. Of course, she did it last week, but I think she needs to win it this week in order to stay alive. We saw last night, even some today, people like Ava. Ava's just tired of Mickey. She wants Ava gone. I think Mickey's in trouble. A lot of people would be happy to get her out of the house. I don't think anyone really thinks it'd be a lot of bad blood or people getting too upset if they voted out Mickey. So yeah, I think she probably is most likely if she won Blockbuster. And I'm trying to think if it's her versus Vince or her versus Ashley. I think it's Mickey, but we still got some game to play a long while before Thursday comes along. On the other hand, if she was to win the Blockbuster and it was Ashley versus Vince, that could be an interesting one because you're going to have Rachel fighting like heck to save Ashley. She'll do everything she can. And I have a feeling there'd be part of the house really supporting, like Will, people like that would support her. But you also then have Keanu and his side, Lauren, and some of them that may be supporting Vince. So I'm not sure which direction that would go. And I think that's what's causing a lot of the fear and concern from some of the people right now in the house. If I had to guess, maybe Ashley. I think Vince may be safe. I don't know then, but Rachel and Keanu are such big uncertainties because Keanu has been pushing to get pushed. And for those of you who don't know, let's just go ahead and talk about that so we can talk about other stuff. On the block is the renom. Morgan did use her veto. Ashley got put up in Morgan's place. That happened this afternoon. So yeah, Ashley is on the block. I guess I should have led with that. Ashley and Mickey and Vince are on the block. Rachel not at all happy. She and Keanu went round and round over the last 48 hours or so, griping, pushing different things. Rachel wanted Ava up or she wanted Lauren up, someone not named Ashley. Vince kept saying, hey, Ashley's not going home. She's not going home, and therefore it shouldn't be a big deal, Rachel. That's assuming Mickey comes off the block or does not come off the block with the Blockbuster. If she does, and it's Vince versus Ashley, what happens at that point? I don't know. I could make interesting. I see yet again another week where Rachel and Keanu could have an absolute meltdown. Mo Sue is saying, who do you want gone, assuming it's Vince, Mickey, and Ashley? That's a good one. You know what? I kind of feel like Keanu in some ways is saying, I don't care. Send one of them home. In some ways, I'm ready for all three of them to go home. And that may not be completely fair, but I actually picked Ashley to win the whole season before we actually just a preseason cast assessment. So in some ways, I'm cheering for Ashley, but I just don't know that Ashley's playing that good a game. I think in some ways she's staying out of the gun sight, so to speak, a little bit. But I just feel like sometimes she doesn't always have a very good read on the house. She has some protection from Rachel right now, which I think helps in some ways. So I think Ashley may be the one who is, I hate to say least deserving. I could see her going home, and it's not really going to affect a lot of gameplay if that's the case. Vince just kind of drove me crazy this week. It was very frustrating. I get that sometimes you want to play the woe is me card, the victim card, the I can't do anything card. Why not keep me around? Because Lord knows I'm not going to do anything this game because I just suck at playing the game. He said that multiple times, but it went on and on and on. It's to the point every time Vince was on the screen looking like the sad sack that he was playing, I don't think he's just playing. I think to some degree that's really Vince and just him feeling very down this week. But if I was in that house, I would just be wanting to grab him and say, get a hold of yourself and stand up and play the game. And if you go home, you go home. But to mope and weep and all that is just driving me bonkers. I'm fine with people having the occasional meltdown and tears and all that, but you do it, you get over with, and you keep going. So I'm fine with Vince going just because I'm tired of and the double dealing and all of that. If it's done properly, I'm okay with it. But it's very sloppy the way he's played the game. Mickey, on the other hand, is so confident about her gameplay, almost so arrogant. And there's been people who say she talks down to us and all that. And I can see a little bit of that. So I don't know. I will say this, of the three people in the house that are on the block, Mickey may be the most deserving. I feel like she's tried to play a game. And her game maybe has been a little bit better than Vince's, not quite as sloppy and all that. But I don't know. We'll see. Any one of them could go home, and I'm okay. It's time. It's time to go. For all kinds of reasons, it may be good for Vince to go before he gets any more chummy with Morgan than he already is. Carol Mosier is saying, why isn't anyone targeting Rachel? Well, let's see if that changes, Carol, because right now we had a lot of people throughout this season that were talking about Rachel, saying, oh, I want her on jury. Morgan and Mickey and Ashley, all these people who want Rachel on jury because they think that she will give them a vote in a final 2 decision. And remember, that was when Rachel got so mad, saying, I'm not just going to jury just to sit in a jury house. I'm either going to the very end or I'm going out pre-jury. Well, she's not going out pre-jury. She will be on the jury. But now that they're to the jury phase, and that anyone who's left is going to be casting a vote for the winner, now that they're there, are people going to be more likely to go after Rachel at this point in time? I think that's probably likely. I think it's just a situation every season of Big Brother where they have a returning player or two. They tend to get, I don't want to say, well, I was going to say a little extra protection. And I just think that sometimes because they come in with a certain notoriety, a certain prestige, people don't want to go out of their ways to alienate them. I wouldn't if I was in the house finding a returning player, because you assume the production, it's not the production's going to cheat. It's just that they want them to stick around as long as they can. And so, yeah, I think people are just a little afraid of Rachel. I think that's really the short answer, is they're afraid of her and that death stare that she gives to someone if it doesn't quite go along with what she's doing. We saw her trying to do that to Keanu over the last couple of days, where it's funny. She doesn't mind just sitting there quiet and letting people feel uncomfortable. Keanu's trying to explain why it's okay for Ashley to go up and everything. And she's just looking at him and just has that look. Now, part of it is I think she maybe didn't always have an argument that she thought was going to work with Keanu, but also some people recognize that silence sometimes can be awkward when you're having negotiation sessions. And she's big into that and just letting people feel awkward and start filling in the blanks and giving up more information and things like that. No, people have been scared of her. People want her on jury. Now that she's on jury, I think people will come after her. We saw, I think, Keanu telling her, say, look, you and me, we're two of the biggest targets in the house. They're going to be coming for us both at this point in time. And I think they are. We'll see if people start flipping on Rachel at this point. And you've got people like Kelly who've said forever, I'm going to go after Rachel if I get a chance. She just hadn't won HOH. As great as she is at the puzzles and Blockbuster and all that, she hasn't had a chance. Well, she's had a chance. She has not won HOH yet. So we haven't had a chance to see what she would do in terms of going after Rachel. Who would she put up next to Rachel and all that? All right, Karen Hummer is saying, on Thursday, is the show actually live or was it recorded for a live audience? How early did you need to get ready? It is live and it is an all-day affair. I'll give you real quick what happens on a Thursday. They wake us up early in the morning and we do a dress rehearsal. Not dress rehearsal. We do a dry run on the voting. We come into the main room and they have us sit where they want us to sit. And they tell us the voting order we're going to go in. And they say, okay, as practice, we're going to have vote. You're voting at either Martians, aliens, or zombies from the house. Everyone's going to go in and cast your vote for aliens or zombies. This is the order, and this is how we're going to do it. And to make sure everyone's lined up correctly, and you each go in. And if I recall, Julie Chen was in there as well. So, hey, Cliff, zombies versus monsters or aliens. Julie, I vote out the zombies. Thank you, Cliff. And you come back out. And they would say, all right, we'll have a commercial right here. So, sis, you're going to just not get up and go because there'll be a commercial. They go through all of that, right? So that's the first step. We do that fairly early in the morning. Then I want to say early afternoon, they would tell us, all right, house guests, we're going to do lockdown. You're going to all go up to the HOH room and hang out there while we get everything set up. So if you need to bring some food, blankets, whatever you need to be safe or not safe, to be comfortable over the next few hours, take it with you. And so they would tell us, all right, you guys, y'all in lockdown, go on up. And we'd go up there. Everyone is in the HOH room. They would play music for us the whole time. And they said, while you're up here, no game talk, no strategy talk, because we're not able to record it because there's music playing and on. They said, if you talk game or strategy, we're going to have to turn the music off. And then everyone else in this house is going to be upset with you. And so that was our incentive, not to talk game while we were up there. So we talked about a lot of things while we were up there. Some of it was things that we knew the live feeds weren't on. So if there was some just absolute something that wasn't game related, but something that you just absolutely wanted to tell someone and you hadn't had a chance to because you didn't want it on the live feeds, you could do that. A lot of just hanging out and just, I know the first week we did that, we sat around, everyone said good stuff about Ovi because he was the first person going out the door. After that, we didn't worry about that too much. But a lot of that things, girls were working on their makeup and things like that. My last time in lockdown, there wasn't anyone left that would give me a haircut. So I had to give myself my own haircut with a pair of shears. So I spent lockdown doing that. But just hanging out. And while we're doing that, they're downstairs. The little production mysterious people come in and they turn the monitor off so we can't see in the rest of the house. They came in, they clean up where they need to clean up, move items around so the cameras have good shots, do everything needed to get ready for the live show. After all of that's done, they let us out. We hang around until 4 o'clock or whatever it is, right before the show, I guess 5 o'clock California time. They'd say, all right, y'all get ready. If you need to go to the bathroom, whatever, do that. And then they call us in and we do the show itself. So no, it is absolutely all live. And it is a long day of getting ready for it as well. So yeah, everything on Thursday you see is live. Now that makes me wonder, these the blockbuster competitions, I'm kind of guessing those things are played a little earlier, that they're already recorded. Once the 3 house guests have finished, they're probably sent up maybe to the HOH room where they have to hang out so that the results aren't revealed to the rest of the house guests until during the live show. But I have a feeling just the logistics of them doing the competition and getting back into the house probably takes long enough. They probably do it a little bit early and then bring them in. It's just my guess. I don't know that for certain, but I'm guessing that's probably the way it works. So that's probably pre-recorded. Everything else is live. All right. Brian is saying, what was Lauren doing in the have not room with the drawers? Was she looking for hide and go veto? That is my thinking. I saw her. I was trying to watch in and out a little bit throughout the day as much as I could. I saw her messing around with the underneath the mattresses. Almost, I can't tell if that was a zipper or she was sewing. I don't think she's sewing, but I think she's probably looking for spots for the hide and go veto, assuming that if they're going to do it, it's going to be coming up. I heard them talking earlier saying, oh, there's nowhere to hide stuff in this house. God, it seems like there's places everywhere. Now, one thing y'all may not realize also, all these props on the bookshelves, the cabinets, everything else, all the little knickknacks that you see just everywhere, most of that stuff is glued down or nailed down to the dresser drawer, the bookshelf, whatever. Most of it you can't move because they don't want, I guess they don't want us moving it around. If you start moving stuff around, sometimes I guess it could hurt the continuity of a shot. If sometimes they'll film you saying something and then it doesn't show up on the episode until a couple of weeks later because it just fits in with narratives, things like that. Yeah, that little magical of TV and all that. And so that's the other reason why they won't let us typically do anything radical with our haircuts or anything like that. Is they want to try to keep things somewhat consistent for continuity. But yeah, all the props and stuff are typically nailed down, glued down, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I think it was hide and go veto is what she was probably doing. Michelle Moore is saying, why does the clock by the stairs always show 1:15? I don't know. Wouldn't it? Well, let's see. Is it 1:15? Could it be 1:13? And the idea being there's not a 13 on the clock, right? There's but if you go all the way to, if you go military time, then 1 o'clock in the afternoon is 1300 hours. Theoretically, you could have 1313 on that clock, right? Maybe it's not pointing at 1:15, it's pointing at 1:13. So it's 1313. I know there's a little dress next to the HOH room of 1313. So if they were paying attention, that if I was the prop guy, that's what I would have done, is set it at 1313. But I don't know. I need to check. Now that you asked that question, I don't know. I want to go back and check and see, but that's my best guess, is it's actually 1313. I'm surprised they haven't changed it. That's what I do. Every week I'd go in and change it just a little bit and see if anyone notices. Maybe put some kind of clue in there that if you take the last digit or something, it adds up to a combination that opens up that safe by the front door that they haven't messed with since week 1 or whatever. There's a lot more they could be doing with this mystery twist that I haven't seen yet. I'm hoping once they get to jury, we start seeing a lot more of the special theme of the house and playing into that a little bit. All right, let me look out of here. Tim Cox. Tim, sir, thank you so much for the support. I absolutely appreciate it so much. I appreciate you guys being out here, but that little extra Tim is super appreciated as well. Question or comment? Team Keanu setting them up, knocking them down this week. TK and an O. Well, he had some definite plans of who he wanted up. Right now, I did see he told Mickey at one point. He said, because she said, "Who do you want to go home? Now, you got these targets up on this block. Who do you want to go home?" He said, "Well, the person I wanted gone." Morgan. He didn't tell her that, but it's obvious. The person I wanted to go home is safe now. So, at this point, I don't care who goes home. I don't know, Mickey, just whoever at this point. But yeah, Keanu, he doesn't mess around with it. I feel like he's gotten to be a much better player. Now, there's still stuff. For those of you who are not aware, Keanu shopped around this plan over the last 36 hours or so of trying to get Morgan to use the veto on Vince. At which point he would then tell Morgan that he was going to use the renom Lauren, because everyone wants Lauren gone, and Morgan certainly would be fine with that. But instead, actually put up Ashley and have Ashley as a target. That was what he was shopping around. I think that's amazingly sloppy's not the right word. I think it's going to create a lot of problems for Keanu going forward. Ed is saying, Keanu is a trip. I like the drama he creates, but he is not a good player. Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to say the same thing, not nearly as succinctly as you did. He had this fancy plan of, let's get her to use it on you. We'll put up Ashley. We'll send hopefully Mickey out. If not, we'll send Ashley out. Either way, you should be good, Vince. It just seemed like a whole lot of extra steps that are unnecessary. And suddenly now he had to tell Lawrence, I'm going to tell everyone I'm putting you up, but I'm not really. That can't make her feel good, because now she found out she's upset because she said, "Well, why are you saying me?" And he said, "Well, because everyone is saying they don't want you in the jury because you're indecisive and they really don't want you in jury." She's like, "Well, thanks a lot. That makes me feel fantastic." So she's feeling bad. Rachel's going to feel bad. Morgan would feel bad when she found out she was tricked. And Keanu said, they'll get over it. It's not that big a deal. I think it's a big deal. I think Keanu sometimes is trying to do too much in the interest of being fancy, or as much as he complains about Vince always being wishy-washy in order to try to cover all sides. Keanu is he trying to cover all sides? I don't know. I feel like Keanu is just throwing stuff up and seeing what hits. And at one point he finally said, "Hey, if I'm going to go after Ashley and Rachel's going to be mad at me for doing it, why not just go after Rachel instead?" And he mentioned that. And all I think is, well, you're right. Wait till Rachel hears about that, Keanu. As much as you've tried to make things better with her, you're still ready to throw her under the bus. Keanu's a sloppy player, but he's an interesting player to watch. Absolutely. C. Gabarino. Hey, C. Saying, this has been a crazy ride with this cast. Colleen is saying this cast is nuts. You know why? I think there's a lot of people who haven't watched a lot of seasons. They obviously, all the ones who hadn't seen a lot of seasons were told to watch, probably told, or they just chose to watch last season, Big Brother 26, where you had Tucker volunteering to go on the block every week. You had him using a veto, not on himself, but using it on Angela. You saw just a lot of people just doing things even then that were a little off the wall. And I think they're just trying to copy it because some of them don't know any better. The number of people who've put up on the block people that should be loyal to them is incredible. Is this a new way of playing Big Brother and I'm just behind the curve? Maybe so. Maybe I'm just not as up on it as I should be. But I just feel like even during my season, it's not like my season was 15 years ago. It was 6 years ago now. But I feel even then, I didn't put Kat on the block. I'd never put Nicole on the block. I wouldn't put Jessica. I had the people I was loyal to that I would not put on the block if at all possible. And most people were not afraid to draw a line at some point. You try to do some damage control, but when it came down to it, say, I got to pick someone. I'm not picking my friends. So Mickey, you're going up. Jack, you're going up. It's just the way it is. Now everyone's saying, we've got three. And maybe it's because there's three people versus two. Maybe that's it, that there's too many people to put up from the other side. And it's easier just to say, you know what, I'll put up two people I really want out the door, but then I'll put up a pawn from my side. They'll understand because it's a lot less likely they'll go home. Maybe that's part of it. People aren't as afraid of being on the block because they know they have that extra chance. Someone like Kelly's like, whatever, I'll volunteer because I've got two chances to come off the block. When I played, you had one chance, and that was veto. Otherwise, you're sitting there Thursday night, and there's a good chance. There's always a risk that you're going home. So I think people maybe are more willing to jump on that block, and as a result, there's also people more willing to put up someone on the block who they don't really want to go home. But that is completely different than the way I played the game, or I've ever would have wanted to play the game. And I can't imagine, Rachel's got to be going crazy because it is definitely not the way that she played the game back when she was 13 and all. Not the way that Rachel played the game back in her day either. It's different. And is this going to stay this way? Now that they have announced that from this point on, putting three people on the block is going to be the standard for Big Brother, are we going to see more and more of this as we go forward in years? More and more people willing and volunteering to go on? Maybe. All right. Boston Gamer is saying, hope they don't bring Blockbuster back next season. Well, I got some news for you on that. Just a straightforward game of Big Brother. No masterminds or returning players. I'm right there with you, Boston. It's kind of like Survivor. I love the game. I love Survivor and Jeff Probst, the daddy of them all. But that show continues to do more and more twists to the point there's so many advantages out. There's so many immunity idols and all that. I would like to see just an old school version. We'll have just an immunity idol, but that's it. Not a whole lot of extra stuff. I'd kind of like to see Big Brother the same way with it. And as far as the Blockbuster, unfortunately, Boston, they've already announced that this is going to be the new standard format for Big Brother going forward. So we're going to have to figure it out. I've mentioned that here before. I understand why they do it. It makes for a much more interesting Thursday night because you go in not even knowing who's going to be on the block. They start right off the bat with that Blockbuster competition, which everyone likes. But I think it keeps people from making big moves earlier in the season, as we've seen here. And the other thing is it also means that we're not really getting to see the HOH competitions live either, which I think is unfortunate. But we're going to have to deal with it because it is here to stay, I think. They've said it is. All right, Shannon Gammons is saying, are we going to have 2 double evictions or a triple? I think they have said on September 11th, we're going to have a 2-hour episode, which would suggest certainly a double. Could it be a triple? I haven't tried to do the mathing on it. Yeah, maybe someone else, if someone has, tell me how it works out. I would love to see a triple. We talked about this last week. They've done it up in Canada. The way a triple works, if I recall, is 3 people end up on the block. Everyone votes not to send someone out the door. Everyone votes on who to save. And 2 out of the 3 people go home. That would be pretty intense, right? Now, unfortunately, someone's going to, it's probably Ashley. Someone's going to go in and cast the vote wrong. They're going to cast a vote to send someone out the door, not realizing it's supposed to be protecting someone. Who is it? We had one of the celebrity Big Brother people who did that. Was it Meta World Peace? Someone who did that before. They cast the vote the wrong direction because they didn't understand. I would be a little bit worried about that. The Lord knows production would go on and on and on about this vote is to save someone. This vote is to save someone. Do not forget. But a triple would be kind of fun. 2 doubles would be fun. But if I recall, we've only got 1 week that has the extended episode. So I don't think we're going to get 2 doubles, which means we start off with 17 people, not 16. We very well could have that. Now, the other thing, I don't think we're going to have any kind of battle back like we had my season. I don't think we're going to have any of the situations like we've had in past seasons where someone got to save someone, even if it wasn't a battle back, like when Cameron saved Jag and all that. I don't think we're going to see any of those type of situations. If you're voted out this season, thanks to Rachel being a 17th house guest, I think that's just it. You're just out the door, which I'm glad we didn't do that during my season. How different would everything have been if I had been booted out on day 30 and not had a chance at battle back? I would have been pre-jury. I still would have had fun talking to everyone, but I'm glad I had the opportunity to fight and save myself and get back into that house. All right, let's see what else we've got on here. Boston is saying, I see Morgan spilling the beans on a lot of things to get Vince's votes, to get Vince votes. Excuse me. And Ed is saying Vince is at least playing. Don't like his style, but he is playing. No, he's absolutely. He irritates me sometimes just because I'm tired of the mopiness. But you're right. He's playing the game. He's trying to play it hard. I just don't feel like he's loyal to anyone because of it, and that's going to cost him in the future. But I agree. Kim T is saying Vince tried to get Morgan to use the veto on him. It was crazy him begging her to use it on him. It is so funny because Vince started off saying, I would never tell Keanu, I'm not going to ask Morgan to use it on me. I just can't do that. And then Keanu starts saying, if we had Lauren up there, you'd probably be safe. And suddenly it's like, if you want to suggest it to Morgan, we won't get in your way. And then after a while, he's talking to Morgan and she said, I'm not going to do it. And he said, I wouldn't ask you to do it, Morgan, but it is a pretty good plan. It would be interesting if it was done, but I'm not going to ask you to do it, but it would be a good plan. To him eventually just almost without saying it word for word, but certainly wanting her to use the veto. And he pretended like he didn't know anything about the plan until she brought it to him. So I agree. Vince is definitely playing the game. He's playing it hard. He's been playing it hard for a while. He was the very first HOH of the season. So he has been fully involved in this game from start to finish. He's a major character. Think of it this way. If you had to pick, I'm not saying America's favorite. I'm just saying if you had to pick we'll call it the stars of the season, the standouts, the people who made the difference this season in playing the game, who would your three people be? My first thought is probably Vince and Morgan and Keanu. That's who I'm probably putting out there. And then I suppose right behind them would be probably like Mickey and Kelly. Not Will so much. Will's still in the house, right? But those are the three I'd put up. As the stars, the biggest effect on the game so far is Morgan and Vince and Keanu. Not Rachel either. But I think that's a good thing for Rachel. Rachel needed to come in and let some other people run the show. I think she'll take over as we get further into it. All right, Boston is saying, I see Morgan. About spilling the beans, so a lot of things to get Vince votes. Yeah, she's telling people. And it was funny because Ava was talking, and I think she may have been talking more to Keanu because Keanu's doing the same thing, trying to get votes for Vince. And Ava said, look, Vince is a grown man. If he wants me to vote for him to stay, maybe he needs to come and talk to me instead of sending his minions or whatever. But yes, it would be interesting because it will be interesting. You've got Ashley and Vince on the block. We aren't going to know until Thursday if one of them maybe comes off with the blockbuster. So as a result, you've got Rachel definitely pushing for Ashley to try to save her. You've got Vince. You've got Morgan and Keanu both pushing to save Vince. Getting in everyone else's ears. Mickey doesn't really have anyone fighting for her at this point. She could have Will, but Will's not. I don't think he wants to rock the boat that much. And Will is close enough to Ava and knows that Ava wants Mickey gone horribly so. So I just feel as we get closer and closer to Thursday, you're going to have more and more people that are going to be feeling pressure to not vote out Ashley, to not vote out Vince. And here's Mickey just standing there without anyone really advocating for her at this point in time. And I think as we get closer, Mickey is going to be a bigger and bigger target, which is why I say I think unless she wins Blockbuster, she's in trouble. Now, if she does win Blockbuster, then you're going to have Rachel and Keanu and Morgan knocking heads a little bit. But it's interesting because you've also had Keanu hot and cold saying, I don't care. If he goes home, he goes home. He said that at one point. Someone, I think it was Morgan, maybe saying, what happens if he doesn't win Blockbuster and it could be him versus like Ashley? And Keanu just kind of blew up, said, look, he's got to do some things for himself. I can't do everything for him. If he wants to get off the block, if he wants to survive, win Blockbuster. Don't, if he doesn't, then I can only do so much. But yes, definitely people, Morgan is pushing hard for Vince. They've got to be careful because people are seeing them. It's not as though it's a new situation, but certainly people are seeing Morgan and Vince getting closer and closer to one another. We had last night, it was Will and Ashley and Rachel, I think, that were talking. I know Will was the main part of it, talking about how long Morgan and Vince had hugged each other. Ava actually timed it out to be like 14 seconds. they're saying, oh man, they were talking about what's going to happen if these two kiss. Are they going to kiss at some point? And then someone said, do you think they've already kissed? And they're, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And Will's pretty funny, said, yeah, if I did what Vince is doing, my wife's coming in here and stabbing me with a fork in the thigh. Not just any fork, a rusty fork. And Sharon said she would do the same thing to me. Sharon said I'd be over the wall. Yeah, I know better, Sharon. That's not a chance in the world. But Vince and Morgan don't even try to hide it anymore. If she wasn't an HOA, have not, and they were able to sleep right next to each other, hey, you'd only need one set of sheets for that group, I think. But anyway, I think people are going to tag them as being so tight. It makes an extra reason to get one or both of them out the door. And they're both very strong players. So I just see those targets getting bigger and bigger on Vince and Morgan. They may both survive this week and make it to jury, but they may have a lot of time in the jury. How would you like to be Vince's girlfriend in the relationship? Have Morgan go out next week, Vince go out the following week, and know that they've got the next 6 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it is. Oh, well, we're closer than that. 4 weeks in the jury house just to hang out, and you can't keep track of anything. It could be a fun after season as well. All right. Shannon Gammons is saying, if Mickey wins Blockbuster, she would be the deciding vote. Ooh, very good, Shannon. I hadn't thought about it. I should have pulled out my M&Ms so I could figure out how those voting patterns went. I hadn't thought about that. Oh, all right. Well, that's very interesting thinking there. Very interesting recognition. Let's see. So Mickey has to decide between Ashley and Vince. I don't know. I'm trying to remember what she has said. She talked to Keanu about it a little bit and what she would do and all of that. I tend to think Mickey at one point said, if I voted out Ashley, they would murder me. They would absolutely murder me. And I think for that reason alone, maybe she would vote out Vince. She's not real happy with Keanu either for having her in that position in the first place. So she would probably vote out Vince just because Keanu doesn't want her to. So I'm saying at that point that Mickey probably saves Ashley, which means Vince goes home. Oh, Shannon, good. I thank you for pointing that out. I had not even thought about that, but it makes sense. All right. Well, one more reason that Vince better win that Blockbuster to pull himself off the block, or at least hope that Mickey does not win the Blockbuster. It's going to be a fun Thursday. All right. Hunter Green. Hunter, how are you, sir? I saw some Texas A&M football picks from Hunter. Hunter saying, is that the Dixie chicken in your background? Why, yes, it is. And Hunter, the whole reason, it's Labor Day. I'm here. I didn't have to go to work, my real job. I didn't have to do that, but I'm out here talking to y'all. I'm not sure this really counts as work, but I'm out here. I still did the live feed recaps this morning, doing this evening and all that. But I was thinking about Labor Day. Where are my two favorite places to luxuriate? Is that a word? It would be if I was spelling in Big Brother comp. Where are my two favorite places to hang out? And it has to be either at the lake, our lake house, just because it's quiet and a little solitude and all of that, or hanging out at my old college haunt, the Dixie Chicken. So yeah, just for memory's sake, for reminiscing, I spent many an evening in the Dixie Chicken playing a whole bunch of dominoes, listening to a whole bunch of country music, and maybe drinking a beer or two, just here and there. But yeah, so I just thought I'd throw up something a little different. I've been doing all the Big Brother backgrounds for the past 2 months or whatever. So just want to do something a little different, Hunter. And if there's anyone out here that would recognize it, I knew it was going to be you. All right. I miss a chicken. I'm ready to get back up there again. All right. For those of you who don't know, Dixie Chicken is Texas A&M's college hangout. At one point, they sold more beers per square foot than any other bar in the United States. It's a tiny little place, but everyone knows the Dixie Chicken. All right. Misfire. Misfire, how are you doing, my friend? Misfire is saying, Rachel is playing a decent game, but how far will she get if people assume she's in jury? That's a thing. Now that she's in jury, I think people are going to be a lot more, well, two things. One, I think people are more willing to let her go now that she's in jury. You're going to have people like Morgan and Mickey and some of those. They aren't going to want it to look like they're the ones that push to get Rachel out. But if she's on the block, they may be less willing to fight for her because everyone's a little scared about what Rachel can do if she makes it to the end. So for that reason, I think she's more likely to become a target in the last half of the game. But also, now that we don't have the Blockbuster competition, now that you truly do have a backdoor option. We've got let's see, we've got 9 people that are going to be in the house right now. Next HOH, you're going to have the HOH winner and 2 people on the block. So 6 people left. You've got a couple of weeks where you've got a backdoor option where not everyone is able to play in veto. So you do have a backdoor scenario if you need to. G. Gabarino is saying, do you think Rachel will vote against the person who puts her in jury? I don't know. That's a good question. Would Rachel be a bitter juror, or would she applaud the gameplay? I don't know that she would vote against the person just because they voted her out, because I think in some way she would respect that someone saw her as a threat. But I also don't think it would be completely gameplay that she decides on. I think Rachel plays with enough emotion that she would probably be more inclined to vote for someone who tended to play on her side of the house, on her side of the season, even if at some point they then turned on her. I think she's more inclined to do that than to vote against someone on the other side. But having said that, for example, if Kelly got HOH and she went after Rachel and she said, look, Rachel, I admire you as a person. I wish we got interacted more, but I got to do what I got to do. I feel like Rachel would respect that. I think she would, and would be more inclined to vote for her. Someone like Vince, if he went after and got her out, I'm not sure that she would be as respectful of Vince and his gameplay, and she maybe wouldn't give him his vote. But there's someone like Morgan, who they were at odds in the first half, right? And she really gave Morgan the 9th degree. If they continue to work together, and she feels like Morgan really was a supporter at the end, I don't know. I don't think she would necessarily be a bitter juror, but I don't think she's going to base her decision strictly on gameplay, if that makes sense. I think she'll do a little bit based on who she felt like she had the better relationship with. And at the end, as much as Rachel Riley has talked about these people don't know how to play the game, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? I think she's wanting to reward someone who plays an old school game of Big Brother, who just does what needs to be done, takes the shots when they need to, doesn't go after the allies too much, and plays a more straightforward game. I think that's who will get her vote in the end. We'll see. It's a great question. Let's see. Angie. Hi, Angie, saying, this year I have no favorite. I don't either. I'm going back and forth. I've been cheering for team Keanu a little bit, and Kelly to some degree also, because I just feel like they're, and Tracy Muckenfuss is saying, still hoping Will wins. I'm always going to cheer for the old guy as well, but let's start with Will, and then we'll go back to the other two. As much as I want Will to do something, he's just not having any agency in this game. He's not, and it's not just, you don't have to win competitions in order to have some control over the game. Will could be out there influencing people and saying, hey, look, y'all need to do this or that. And I just don't see him doing much of that either. I know during my season, and it's probably not fair. I'm biased. There's no way I can be objective when I'm comparing my game and Will's game, because I understand my game better than his. But I had won an HOH competition, which certainly helped me control some of the game. But I also was talking to people and trying to turn some people against each other and trying to organize some people. I feel like every day I was in that house, I was trying to do something to further my game. And I'm not sure Will is necessarily doing that. He is just, I think he got a little snake bit because he was on those block the first few weeks. And he's just so happy that he kind of got off being the perpetual pawn, that now he's happy to sit back and let other bigger targets take their shots at each other, which is fine. It's not the worst thing in the world to do, but at some point you've got to jump in and start developing some relationships and actually showing some people that you can do something in this game. And I'm not sure that he's there yet. I heard someone say today, Will could be the last man in this game. Yeah, Vince goes home. Keanu's a big target. It could be Will and a house full of ladies. I'm not sure that's necessarily a compliment to Will, because I'm not sure he's sticking around because he's such a strategic game player. It's because he just is a non-threat to everyone in the house right now. And that may let you survive the first part of the season, but when it comes down to the end, you're not getting a jury vote at that point. And maybe he gets top 4, 5, 6, something like that. Until someone just says, it's either you or one of my allies who actually has done something to help me out. And so therefore nothing against you, Will, but you're heading out the door. He's got to do something. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm still cheering for him. I hope he turns it around at some point. Keanu and Kelly, sloppy games. I was kind of cheering for them both because I felt like the rest of the house was kind of ganging up on them a little bit. And, I've seen plenty of live feed shots where Kelly is off on her own in the hammock and everyone else is somewhere else. A lot of that is her own fault. She herself has admitted she's an instigator and done a lot of things to stir stuff up. So it's not that she's not to blame, but it can get awful lonely in that house when you just don't really feel like you've got a strong advocate. So I kind of am always going to support the underdog. I was happy to see Keanu win this HOH as a result. I did not like him trying to see him do this dirty deed of tricking Morgan and lying about putting Lauren up and all. I just thought it was unnecessary. And I just would feel so bad if Morgan had fallen for it and then went home. I don't want to see anyone do something that kills you, that creates so many regrets for the entire rest of the season for you. So, Zach is always going to say, I can't believe I didn't use my power and all of that when I could have. So he'll have some regrets, but that is to actually not use a veto while you're on the block. That's a whole different level. And so Keanu kind of lost a little bit of my support this week. I'm sure it'll pick back up. I would not have guessed that I was supporting Rachel coming into the season just because she was a returning player and all that. But I kind of have a lot of respect for Rachel and the way she's playing the game so far. I don't think she's playing a perfect game either, but she deserves to be there. She's taking an active role and she's doing some stuff as well. So yeah, but I agree with you. There is no one who just absolutely jumps out at me. I'm still holding that slot for Ava. I like Ava as a person. It seems like she kind of got a bit of an eye-opener these past few days because Keanu kept coming to her and saying, look, people are throwing your name out. And Mickey's even saying that she thinks she could win if it came down to votes, her versus you, Ava. And Ava later said, I think she told Lauren, said, it's Keanu who's telling me this, so I'm not sure if he's really telling me the truth or not. But I still think Ava has a little bit more awareness that there's not that many people left. And it could be her. No matter how much people say they like her, she still needs to be playing the game. And so I'm hoping that Ava starts stepping up a little bit more and taking more control of the game. If she does it, if she does that, plus the fact that she just seems like a very likable person, I think she could be a very popular winner if she does what it takes to get to the end. All right, Lisa DeBose is saying, would love an Ashley HOH about now. What would Ashley do? She'll come after Keanu, right? She told him, she said, if you put me up, I'm winning HOH and I'm coming after you. I think she would put him up. I think she would put Vince up. Who else would she put up? Keanu, Vince, and probably Kelly would be my guess. Yeah, I've got mixed feelings. I don't know why, and it's probably not fair on my part, but I just feel like Ashley as an HOH would just almost be insufferable. I just feel like she would let that power go to her head in ways that not everyone does. And I don't know why I should say that. I don't know. Again, it may not be fair, and I may regret even saying that, but I just feel like she feels. I've heard people say that she feels entitled to a lot of stuff. I don't know. I just think I'm not sure she always has a good read on the house, but I don't mind seeing her if she gets it. But I am curious to see what she would do with it, and would she try? It would be a perfect opportunity for her if she's HOH. It would force Mickey to come to her. And force some people to maybe work with her a little bit more that aren't taking her seriously. And maybe that's why I say it. Maybe it's because I don't really feel like other people in the house are necessarily taking Ashley very seriously about the way she's playing this game. And so because they don't, my viewpoints and opinions are probably a little tainted as well about the level of strategy that she's using right now to play the game. We'll see. That could be a fun HOH. All right, let's see what else we got. Ed is saying, Rachel might be America's favorite player consideration. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people cheering for her. And then Misfire is saying, Keanu, Ava, Rachel for America's favorite player. Let's see, Keanu and Ava. I could see all those. Colleen saying, would love Pandora's box brought back. Misfire is saying with Brendan. Oh, wouldn't that be interesting? Uh, talking it talking about a little bit insufferable. I'm not sure I could handle a Pandora's box that involved Rachel and Brendan in the house together for too long. Now, having said that, I love the two of them. I've met them. They're incredibly friendly people. Just such a great mom and dad. And so don't take this the wrong way. Don't after the season say, oh, Cliff said Brendan in the house would be horrific. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that having the two in there, it would certainly fire up Rachel, right? It would get her inspired. But but Pandora's box would be fun. As far as America's favorite player, Rachel's going to get a lot of votes. There's a lot of people that she's just like Janelle. A lot of people view her very favorably and always will. She's always going to have a certain number of votes just because of who she is, and deservedly so. So I definitely see her being one of the top three, no matter what she does from this point on, especially now that she's on jury. I could see her and Ava, maybe Keanu. We'll see. We'll find out. We'll see how he plays the rest of the game. Let's see. Sonra Battles is saying, Sonia Battles is saying, speculation out there that they're doing a dire fest for double eviction, then another double eviction for the next week. I have not heard that. I'm not the biggest fan of dire fest. That was not being stuck outside for a week. I feel like because they were stuck outside, there were limited areas and opportunities for them to have gameplay discussion. I think it really stifled gameplay for that particular week. I was, and for those of you who don't remember what Dire Fest was that 2 seasons ago? That wasn't last season. It was 2 seasons, right? I think so. We're talking, yeah. And DJ Showtime, Terrence, he won the HOH out in the backyard. You basically have the house split up into the inside and outside. Inside gets all the nicest everything. The outside stuck with styrofoam containers and whatever food they can cook over a propane camper kind of thing and things like that. And they were split up. Each of them has an HOH. Each of them puts up 2 people, and 2 people get sent home. That is a good thought. I'm not a fan of Dire Fest, but it is a good thought about a way that they could get rid of 2 people. So that makes a whole lot of sense. I did not like the HOH competition, the Dire Fest that DJ won, because it involved taking a bunch of styrofoam to-go containers and seeing who could stack the most of them up on top of each other. The wind was blowing. It was a horrific, badly run competition, and not something that should create someone who controls that level of power in the game. But I'm sure production learned from the first time they tried it. If they do Dire Fest, I hope it's not the whole week. I hope it's just a day or 2 and maybe do it a little bit differently, because I do think it affected gameplay. But that is an incredible comment, because I can see how they could get rid of 2 people like that and still not necessarily have a 2-hour episode or anything. So that makes a lot of sense. All right. Jim Starr is saying, and Angie both are saying, would love a Kelly HOH. She would put up Rachel, would be fun. Yeah, she would. I don't think she'd hesitate. Angie is saying, imagine the sucking up if Kelly wins HOH. You're right. And then the last thing was HOH would actually talk to her, or a house guest would actually talk to her. Oh, no. Kelly is somewhat isolated, as people sometimes made her. It's amazing the power you get when you get an HOH, right? And I mentioned Ashley maybe letting it go to her head. I can see Kelly doing that as well. I can see Kelly really, really making people earn their opportunities to talk to her. I can see her saying, hey, Rachel, yeah, we can talk. Why don't you come out here and sit on a hammock with me? Or why don't you give me a hug first, Rachel, and then we'll talk. I just think, is petty the right word? I'll say it, but I'm saying it in the right way. Is there such a thing as the right way? I can see Kelly being a little petty just to make up for some of the slights that she feels like she's received forever. Yeah, that'd actually be a lot of fun to watch Kelly as an HOH as well. So we got several people. I guess it comes down, who do I not want to be HOH? I don't know. We'll leave that. We'll talk about that next. I'm not really sure on that one. Heather Luck is saying Kelly is mean. She certainly can be. And Kelly, I feel for Kelly, but I've also seen Kelly make some comments that I felt went beyond the game, talking about Rachel as a mother and just some things that you don't need to be involving in the game of Big Brother. No, leave the families and the loved ones alone and things like that. So, yeah, she can certainly be mean. Would she? Would Kelly be mean just because she has the power to do it if she's HOH, or would she use that as a way to do some damage control and bring some people over to her? I'm not sure. That's a very good question to ask. I don't know. All right, Cindy Hire. Cindy, I'm glad you're out here. How you doing, my friend? Cindy is saying, disappointed the mastermind is not being used more. I don't know why he isn't. We see this every season. I remember the Gronk, oh, it's a BB takeover. And then after like the third week, it goes away. The Netherworld just seems like it kind of faded away. AI last season lasted a little bit longer than most of them. It's such a cool theme. And I really, there's so much you could be doing in this house with mystery themes. Now, they did do the veto, or it was the HOH competition last week with the poison, which I really thought was kind of cool. Kind of different. But there's a lot more I feel like they could be doing in terms of just, I'm just amazed they haven't hidden more clues around the house. It's all about mystery, right? If you could solve the mystery, you should get some kind of benefit. I would have been putting, we talked about the clock at the first of our discussion. I would have been putting things, hiding things, or putting clues somewhere, doing something that someone who's observant is going to benefit from it. Because I got to say, if I was in that house, there would not be a spot unturned looking, not just for hide and go veto spots, but looking for hidden safes, hidden documents, I don't know, whatever may help you in the game itself. I did that during my season. I looked, there were merit badges on the wall. I tried to remember all the merit badges, thinking that would be some kind of clue, something like that. Turned out not to be, but you never know. So anyway, yeah, I'm a little disappointed that Mastermind hasn't come back as well, but it is what it is. All right, with that going on, Judd Dangle is saying, missed it. All right, well, Judd, sorry that you missed it, my friend, but here's the beauty of it. I've got it set up so it'll be playing replay, not just a replay of me talking, but you actually get to see all the comments and questions on the side as well. Y'all tell me that works, right? I always click to let all the replay comments and stuff show up. So I hope it does. I need to go out and check myself. But anyway, Judd, it's all out there on replay. I don't think it's instantaneous. It may take a little while before it gets posted, but it'll be out there on YouTube. So check it out. Send me a DM with your comments, your opinions, and we'll cover it next week. All right, guys, with that, we're going to shut it down 8 o'clock. So we got to close it for now. Y'all have a fantastic Monday. I hope you had a fun, long weekend as well. I didn't say at the beginning, which I always do and I forgot. But if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. You can hit the thumbs up while you're there. You can turn on the notifications as well. So you know every time I drop an episode and when I do these things, it'll pop up with notification and all that. So please consider doing that. It's always appreciated. And guys, with that, I'll just shut it down, give you a big old SKD 143. Love you guys. Love Big Brother. Crazy season. It's going to be fun seeing what happens in this next HOH. Send me DMs. Send me comments. We'll cover it next week as well. Guys, have a great Monday. I'll talk to y'all either with my recap in the morning or next Monday with Cliff Notes Live. Until then, cheers, my friends. Do it again. SKD 143. Bye, guys.